Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fentanyl poisoning is now the largest leading cause of death for Americans 18 to 49. As a 42-year law enforcement officer and a sheriff, I saw the devastating effects of young teenagers and young adults dying as a result of this, and it's heartbreaking. The death toll continues to climb. The rising power of the Mexican cartels continue to grow, and this low-cost manufacturing of a drug is terrible to this open border. Mr. Scott, do you believe the current fentanyl crisis is a consequences of Mr. Mayorkas' open board policy?
I believe that in part it really is, and I want to highlight some misinformation. People keep talking about seizures as if it was the total. More fentanyl is seized at the ports of entry than in between the ports of entry, but it's because CBP officers are there doing a fantastic job. They're ready to greet everybody every day. We're leaving hundreds of miles of border open every single day, no one patrolling it, but yet Border Patrol is still catching fentanyl between the ports of entry. The metric needs to be how much is available in our cities, and there's no shortage.
Mm-hmm. In your role as Border Patrol Chief, how you have seen cartels, tell us how you have seen the cartels capitalize on the border crisis and use the surges for migrants to smuggle their narcotics.
So historically, the cartels have used any distraction they can. And honestly, a lot of people have a hard time picturing this. So just think of sports. You fake a play to the right, you run the real play to the left. That's what the cartels have done. They've always done it, they've always tried to do it. When you've seen in El Paso, a young child, I think the last one was basically like a several-month-old child being dropped over the fence in plain sight of cameras where they know it's going to be viewed, that's because they know agents are going to prioritize taking care of that baby and they can push something else through. They now, unfortunately, we've given them millions of distractions. We've given them, right now, 3,500 distractions a day that the Border Patrol is having to go deal with so that they can bring anything they want in. It's lowered their overhead, it's lowered their risk, and it's a direct impact on the ability to get narcotics in cities in the U.S. And other threats.
Thank you. Mr. Wolf, last year, 850 migrants died at the border. This is the highest ever recorded. The average under the Trump administration was 280. If this is the case, why does the Biden administration continue to tout their immigration policies as safe, humane, and orderly?
I'm not sure I have a question or an answer for you, Congressman. The amount of deaths that are increasing in that desert and along that river are a factor of the amount of people coming across the border. We're seeing a huge spike, right? So we were at 10,000 a day for a long time. We were at 7,000 a day. We're still at 3,500 to 4,000 a day. Right? You only have to go back to Secretary Jay Johnson under the Obama administration that said 1,000 a day is a bad day for the Border Patrol. We're in crisis mode. We're still at 3,500. So this idea that somehow we have retracted from 10 and that's we should pat ourselves on the back and say, good job, you're still losing the ball game in a big way. And so I think that is something we need to look at.
Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Wolf, I keep thinking about these words, safe, humane, and orderly. Do you believe that Secretary Mayorkas has been honest with the American people?
I don't. Not only on those words, but when you talk about the border secure operational control, he talks about putting people in expedited removal. He knows what that means. The staff of this committee knows what that means. None of those individuals will likely be removed. All they have to do is claim asylum, and they are pulled out of expedited removal. So he uses terms like these for the American people to try to explain away what's going on along that border. But those that work in the department know immigration. They know something else. And so if you're a Border Patrol agent and you hear these words, and you're saying, your political leadership is saying, look, I'm removing all these folks under expedited removal, that's not the case.
Mr. Scott, could you add anything to that?
I would agree to that 100%. The words very rarely match the actions. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.